Hello, welcome to Law Master's Lair. I'm your Law Master, here today for another God video. We are currently exploring the different deities whose faith comes from the continent of Garund, and we have a full write-up for one more deity. And a pantheon he supplanted, but we'll save that for a side tangent. Either way, let's talk about Walkena. Starting off as always, where can you find information on Walkena yourself? The second Gods and Magic book and Divine Mystery book both contain information of the king on Fall. It is not until the fourth book of Strength of Thousands, titled The Secrets of the Temple City, where we actually get to bask in the presence of the king. His realm is also in the same book. Finally, the side tangents are all the same theme, so you will find their information in the Morning Expanse book, as well as the Divine Mysteries book. In life, Walkena was king of Mzali since he was born. As he grew into a tyrant, hateful of outsiders and ready to cut down anyone who questioned him. Eventually, a council used the power of what are now known as the Old Sun Gods to defeat the tyrant, then taking the rule of the nation for themselves. Though their 30 weakened as time passed, this led to the city-state to slowly lose authority and become a nation others took advantage of. That was until they took Walkena's mummified corpse from his tomb, trying to use him and his treasures as centerpieces for their ground temples. Which brings us to our first side tangent, the part of the show where I cover an entire pantheon in between talking about a god. We are talking about the Old Sun Gods today, so let's get a brief profile for them as well, starting with the rising sun, Tellah. She is often depicted as a woman with the head of a lion, a goddess of hope. She keeps watch over every birth and new beginning. Her followers would show their safe refuges with iron, easy to conceal charms. She is less strict than her other two companions, but those who are her children or those under her protection shall be shown no mercy. Walkena continued on as a pretty decoration until the day Cheliak's colonists came for no rest. While others panicked, the dead king rose from his decorative throne and used the power of the sun to burn the invaders to death. He quickly reasserted his dominance, leading to the current station as the leader of Mzali, and the strongest anti-colonist force on the continent, for better or for worse. Walkena appears as the mummy of himself. At midday, he stands the tallest, while at dawn and dusk he appears as a much younger boy. In the night, his form completely shrivels into being no larger than a toddler, so he isolates himself to where only his most trusted advisors can be near him. The citizens of Mzali are the worshippers of Walkena, whether they want to be or not. They are all instructed to labor for the good of their city, though with a break to be taken at the sun's highest point in order to pay respect for their leader, regardless of how hot it is. But for the midday sun, we bring about side tangent 2, Kolha, the golden lion. The deity is said to be the ancestor of Walkena and other rulers of Mzali before him. This deity appears as a lion made of gold sunlight. A deity of justice, he fights for the innocent and powerless, and abhors those like Walkena who wield their powers for their own benefit. That said, it will not be the death of a tyrant, but the renewal sense of strength and pride of the people which will restore Mzali. The clergy of Walkena are divided into 3 levels. The part-time priests, at the bottom rung, sign up for 3 years of service to gain distinction, where they mostly labor for those of higher ranks as opposed to advance to higher positions. Technical priests serve the shrines of Walkena, doing traditional priestly duties. And the high priests have a living god among them, meaning they are in a position to act as advisors to the object of worship. The main temple to Walkena is the Temple of the Deathless Child, the temple in the center of Mzali, which serves as his residence. He appears on the balcony each day to make proclamations to his people. Outside of this, his gods regularly find lost temples to the old sun gods and rededicate them to their lord. Which also brings us to a third side tangent, the setting sun Luhar. Appearing as a pitch-black lioness with the head of a woman, she is deity of both sleep and death. Things Walkena are disturbing in multiple ways. Her followers of old would sleep during the midday, so that they could protect their sleeping fellows during the night. She works against grave robbers and necromancers, and in the past the dead were buried with obsidian line tokens to protect them in the afterlife. So, time for other information. Of course, the main center of worship is the city of Mzali itself, and the faith does not spring much farther from there. The only holiday for Walkena's faith and the city of Mzali in general is the Day of the Cleaning Sun, the anniversary of the day Walkena's mummy awoke. And for holy text, there is power, protection, and protocols. A text which was found written on the heads of spears in Walkena's tomb, and which has been adopted as the sun god's own precepts. For other faiths, Walkena has worked hard to suppress the faith of the old sun gods. Outside of that, he has quoted the Edda sun deities, and he has tried to make enemies of deities of night and moon, both which he has been brushed off by so far. And speaking of the old sun gods, we have one last side tangent for the sun god who is not so old. Daja Murbe was a rebel against the council who ruled Mzali, who tried to ascend to godhood. After a brief interruption for a few hundred years, she has now ascended to light in the shadows. She appears radiant in the light, and instead of it appears as a lion in the darkness. She, as someone who has mastered both light and shadows, sees good can come from shadows used right, as well as pushing her followers to not be restrictive in the means they achieve their goals, as well as forging their paths. And someone who keeps others from completing their goals or mortal enemies to her after her long-delayed path to godhood. Which brings us to the end of today's video. Technically 5 gods in 1, a new personal record. Next time we'll be going to take another look at Starfinder, with the new Ancestry book in mind. See you all then.